can show you the podcast. Shining, shimmering podcasts. Tell me podcasts. When was the... Oh no, I forgot the lyrics.
Tell me, princess, when did you last let your heart decide?
I knew it was something about hearts and deciding. I wasn't sure if that came before the magic carpet ride part.
Well, you tried. That's all that counts.
Welcome back to the Disney Desk, everyone. I'm Carter.
And I'm Sydney.
And we're excited. This is going to be sort of a little bit of a Valentine's Day celebration, assuming I remember to map these out right.
Who knows?
Yeah, I'll probably forget, but either way...
You get the point.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day.
I hope you all celebrate it. Above all else, with self-love, appreciate yourself, you work hard.
Exactly.
You've done a great job with your life. You've gone really far. Your parents are proud of you. If you have siblings, they respect you.
And even if all of this is false, well, we love you.
Yeah, we love you because you're a cool guy or woman.
And you're listening to our podcast.
Yeah, and you're listening to our podcast.
And that's all that matters.
And we appreciate that.
Yes.
So we have a fun little bit planned for today. We are going to talk about the most romantic relationships in Disney movies.
Whoop, whoop. I can't believe we haven't discussed this before.
I know.
I guess our all of our topics thus far have been super ambitious, and now that we're deciding to break these episodes down into these really small, digestible pieces, it's giving us a lot more to work with. As far as, I think before we're thinking about, what can we talk about for
an hour
an hour?
Minutes.
Right, which really isn't all that important. So I'm glad we're getting to this topic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And do you want to kick it off?
Sure. So I wasn't sure.
Oh, actually, hold on. First, what in your head? What is your criteria for the best couple?
I think. Let me think. For me, the criteria for best couple would be how they came together and what sort of measures they had to take in order to end up together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what sort of risks or challenges that they had to go through in order to end up with each other, or what sort of challenges they had to face in order to do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For me, that is the most important. To me, that makes the most important couple, and which is why I chose the couples that I personally chose. So with that being said, my all-time favorite, and for me, this is the most important, most romantic couple that Disney has ever put together, and I think that's Princess Tiana and Naveen.
I think that's a pretty good choice, honestly.
I think that their story is actually the most romantic story of them all. Just because they both were pretty stubborn people. They both had their own paths in life. They both, from the time that they met each other, were this is my end game. It's separate from yours. We need to utilize each other to get through this predicament that we're in. But ultimately, I'm going to go my way. You're going to go your way. Thank you, wham bam, thank you, ma'am, that sort of thing. And then...
They didn't plan to be a couple at any point until the end.
No. And then gave up their individual dreams to meet each other in the middle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Were willing to stay frogs if it meant that they could just be together. And in the end, that's what they chose to do, was to not go back to being humans. She gave up ultimately was going to give up her dream of having a restaurant.
This dream she's been working on for 20 years.
Yeah. That got turned down, and she was still determined to somehow make it work with the little money that she had. He was just trying to get a hold of any money. I mean, that was ultimately, he just needed money. His parents cut him off, and he was like, all I have to do is marry Charlotte, and I'll be set for life. It doesn't matter to me.
And I'll also not be a frog.
And I'll also not be a frog, yeah, because technically she's a princess, and all she has to do is kiss me, which she'll do because Charlotte believes in this sort of thing. And then I'm trying to think of what happens towards the end of that movie. He's straight up about to propose to Tiana, which I'm like, whoa, how did you even come to this conclusion? But he's like, no, actually, I'll give up on being a human again or having all this money. He's not only is he willing to give up the possibility of having a fortune again, but he wants to be with someone who has literally not a cent.
He completely gives up his initial want.
Right. Not only does she not have anything to her name, but let's not forget that we're talking about a black woman in the South in the 1920s. So, like, he's going from royalty in another country somewhere to, like, the very bottom.
Yeah, the
Just
bottom of
to
the social hierarchy.
exactly, like, just to be with Tiana. That is groovy. I dig that so much. And let's see, what has happened? After he like proposes, well, he
They
doesn't
go
even
through
really
with it.
propose, cause like remember he minces dinner. He like learns how to mince, so that's all he knows how to do. He ends up not proposing because he realizes that she's still focused on just like achieving this restaurant. And he's like, well, this can wait because
Yeah.
all I need to do right now is make sure that she gets to where she needs to be so that she can realize her dream. That is so like selfless and amazing to me that he would put aside um plans for even marrying her if it means that she can just get to where she needs to be. Like that
Yeah.
is so important. And then ultimately, like I said, they're like, well, neither of us are going to be human again, but it doesn't really matter because we're together. Just like her mother advised her that it didn't that love would be the most important thing. It didn't matter about your success or anything. None of it would be worth anything if you didn't have love circulating
Yeah.
through your life. So they choose to stay freaking frogs, which is ridiculous to me. But
That's like the ultimate
all
gift of
that.
the Magi.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and it ended up working for them because she became a princess. I mean, like, she technically married a prince even though he was in frog form, and that made her a princess. So then he got to kiss a princess, and that's how they turned into humans again, right? Yeah.
Well, that's
perfect.
I like that too, just because in Beauty and the Beast, at least some of the players know that if Belle confesses her love, it'll break the spell. No one knew that was going to work, so that's completely genuine.
Exactly, right.
I've always made the joke that Princess and the Frog is Beauty and the Beast, but better.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's probably one of the best case studies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I personally chose this couple just because I think it's the most selfless relationship that ever happened.
Oh yeah. And I don't know. I also just love like the arc of the film going from a relatively grounded, like the most realistic Disney setting in terms of like it's a real place at a real time with like a real social like structure beyond just like kings and queens and fairies.
Right.
And then at the end, it is like believing in fantasy and fairy tale that ends up saving the day. And I think that's pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
I'm going to go with a slightly more classic group from the Disney Renaissance, Aladdin and Jasmine. Now, I go back and forth on where I rank Aladdin overall. There's parts of it I love. There's parts of it that kind of grain on me. There's a lot of things like I don't know where I'd rank it among the Disney Renaissance, but for me, in terms of picking my favorite Disney couple or like who's the most romantic relationship, for me it really comes down to A, the banter, like how they interact in the moment to moment.
Right.
And B, like those one or two signature moments. Like what is the poster shot? What is the iconic image from this film?
Yeah.
And it's hard to beat the Whole New World segment.
Exactly.
Which starts out with this really, like, witty back and forth where he's like, all right, I'm just going to throw myself off this banister to reveal, oh, I'm not only rich, but I got magic. And then ends on this one of the most gorgeous scenes and iconic scenes in the history of Disney canon.
Right.
All these gorgeous purples and blues as they're flying through the sky. It has this almost, like Peter Pan and, like, Peter Pan and Superman-esque quality where it's, like, sort of like, I don't even know how to describe it, just like this playful, childish, but like coming of age-esque vibe to it.
Yeah.
And
especially since when you consider that Jasmine's never seen anything.
Yeah, she's been trapped in this palace for so long.
Well, I guess neither of them have really seen anything just because Jasmine is a dignitary, sort of. Well, she is a dignitary, and Aladdin is just dirt poor.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know, just, like, in terms of mood and theme, there's very few scenes that top it in Disney canon.
Right.
And even though they go through the, you lied to me, you did this,
Right.
like,
She's also
that,
totally not feeling him from the jump. Well, first of
yeah.
all, she's not trying to get married, like,
Oh,
whatsoever.
yeah.
She is pretty certain she can do this whole ruling thing. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't even think she's really interested in ruling. She just kind of wants to
Do her own
do her
thing, yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, I could nitpick this to oblivion, where it's like,
Mhm.
she's like, I don't want to marry someone. Oh, wait, now I'll marry this handsome guy.
Yeah.
yeah,
She changed her story really
Oh,
fast,
yeah.
actually.
The whole,
Like, just after this carpet ride, she was like, okay, you're gonna be my husband.
Yeah.
And then remember when she, like, shoves him out into the crowd? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, ta-da, Prince Ali, yeah.
But, yeah, that and the whole, like, liar revealed, where it's like, you betrayed me, you lied to me, and then they make up later. I just hate that. It's just like, all right, we know they're gonna make up. Can we speed it up? I have a
Right.
good disappointment to get to. But again, just like but I feel like the key to a great Disney film is overcoming those problems, because pretty much all Disney films have those little, like, nitpicks and problems.
Yeah.
Overcoming it by just being, like, a magical movie moment that, like, and we talked about it, Disney magic, just something that sticks in your heart and makes you feel good and believe that these characters are real people.
Right.
And that, or the moment where he's like, do you trust me? Or
And
even...
she's like, I've heard that before. Like,
Yeah. And this first time
I can't
he
believe
said
she
it.
didn't put that. I mean, she kind of put that together, but that would have been game over for me.
Yeah.
I've been like, wait a second, I know exactly who you are. Like, I
Yeah.
can't believe, but
And-
I also like how when they first meet in the marketplace, and then all of a sudden she like how she's trying to run away from this, but then wastes no time pulling her rank and being like when the when
Yeah.
those guards come to get him, she's
When-
like, actually,
The
this
minute
is my
this gets,
country.
like, a little iffy, she's
Yeah,
like,
she's like,
all right,
nah,
step off.
I'm the princess. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and that's for me, again, it's like these little, like, mini moments where they're just two regular people interacting in crises, and then, like, the super romantic moments. I mean, I feel like the debate will rage on between the Whole New World segment and the Beauty and the Beast segment, where they're dancing in the ballroom. But for me, just something about the colors,
Yeah.
something about sort of, like, that classical sense of, like, romance and sexuality through the flying.
Right. Yeah.
That, like I said, has been ingrained in our pop culture
Pretty
for a
much,
while now.
yeah.
Um,
And just one of those beautifully written songs.
yeah, and it's
ever.
just a gosh darn beautiful song.
It is, yeah.
And then it ends on this funny moment, like this unexpected moment where she goes, "Oh yeah, I've known you're the same guy. What happened?" And instead of coming clean, he comes up with an even more elaborate lie. And
Cool.
like I said, I hate the liar revealed thing, but that was pretty funny when he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I was under double cover."
Ha, yeah, gotcha. Like
Yeah.
a double cover.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's probably, I'd probably argue that's my top choice, but you
Yeah.
know, we'll talk about the others soon.
Okay. So next we threw Belle and the Beast in there.
Yeah. I feel like
We're
it's
both like,
mandatory.
yeah.
It's mandatory. And it's like, look, I don't want to keep
is.
crapping on Beauty and the Beast. I love Beauty and
No,
the Beast. It's a
yeah.
masterpiece. It's great. It deserves Best Picture nomination. It
Right.
got. But
Well, okay, I guess we put this in here because, like you mentioned, they have one of the most iconic
Yeah.
romantic scenes ever with the dancing in the ballroom.
when
and
people
the,
do
and the
montages of
colors.
Disney moments, it
Right.
always features that incredible swooping angle.
Exactly.
Something people didn't think could be done in animated films.
And you ever notice how Disney is able to create such like iconic things that all you need to do is see colors
Yeah.
to see like all you
Yeah.
need to see is that
You see
shade of yellow
that
and
golden
that royal blue.
Yeah, and
Like you know
instantly-
exactly what that is.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing. But
Once you have mastery over color, you've won.
You've
Everyone
won.
else has just got to pack it in.
exactly. But I guess they deserve, a mention here.
Recognition.
For even though there's this ongoing joke about Stockholm syndrome,
Which
and
I've never
they're
really bought
there.
into.
No, that's going a little far
Because
for this.
she-
I don't think she really.
Yeah, because she only starts being nice to him when he stops
Also,
being an ass.
I don't think she's ever really a victim here. I think she's technically kind of like running the show
Yeah.
here. She
She leaves the first opportunity she's given.
pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
And then she only stays because she's like,
I guess I
well,
have to
I
take
feel
care
bad.
of you.
I feel bad kind of leaving him to die and freeze to death in the middle of
Right.
a forest.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll just help him out and then maybe leave later.
Right. So that's not valid here.
Yeah.
But I think they do form a genuine friendship over their bonding over their love of books.
Yeah.
And this is the only other person that she's ever met other than the librarian that like shares
yeah.
this interest. So, which is Which is what she wanted in the first place. Remember that little song she sang, the
Yeah.
Bell reprise?
Oh, yeah. Where she's like, I want something
I
more
want
and
adventure.
greater.
Right.
Now she's getting
And
that because she's in
someone
a
will
magical
understand
world.
me. Yeah.
And I will say, if I were to give this one advantage over Princess and the Frog is I like how the timeline's wider. Like, we never really told how long she's there, but the understanding is... And the live-action movie kind of plays around with it, where it's like, oh, it's an enchanted forest, so time moves quicker, so it's not as long. But, like, I like how it could be several months or just a few days. So it feels like... Because in Princess and the Frog, it's a much more condensed timeline.
This is 2 days,
Yeah, this is like 2 days at most.
Right, yeah.
Whereas in, Beauty and the Beast, so it feels like they've developed over time a friendship and then an affection.
Right.
And it gives it more of, like, this sweeping romantic epic sense.
Yeah.
But also, the reason why it has that is because that's what they were going for. Disney was like, this is going to be our big gun. This is, like, now we're just going for sucker punches to try to win a Best Picture. Whereas with Princess and the Frog, they're like, no, let's just get back to our roots and make something lovely.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, no, and again, I like Belle and Beast as characters. They're both wonderfully realized characters. I think the weird thing is, like, so when Tiana and Naveen turn back from frogs to people, you're like, oh, right. Where when Beast turns into a human, you're like...
What is that? Who
yeah,
are
I'm like,
you?
You don't even look vaguely like you used to. Your hair's not even the same color.
Yo, I always talk about Adam, but that's his name. Yeah, Prince Adam is his name. Also, what a douchey name, but anyway, I digress.
I was like, oh, no wonder he got cursed.
Oh, he's a white man. Cool.
Like, just everything about it, just disappointing.
And he's just, like, he's attractive to the point where it's not attractive.
Yeah, it's overdone.
It's weird looking. He looks like a Picasso painting where you look at his face and you're like, what am I looking at? What am I looking at?
They clearly overreacted because they're like, all right, the fans are going to be used to this version of the character. They're going to love the Beast. We need to, like, do something really excessive to, like, win their hearts back. Yeah, he has too many angles. He has too many lines.
I always say he looks like
his eyes look
SpongeBob.
weird.
He looks like the episode of SpongeBob where Squidward has like gets his like face bashed in, but then he's like handsome.
Yeah,
like that's what he looks like to me.
Yeah, and something's wrong with his eyes. His hair is a weird shade.
I also both in the animated and the live action didn't think
lips?
Beast was bad looking.
Yeah,
like other than like the teeth and the hooves and the hair, I feel like he's. I find these, and like I said, both in the live action and the animated versions, I think they're kind of attractive looking.
Yeah, like they
for
are
what
in
they
that,
are.
like, sort of, like, forbidden, horror romance
but,
thing.
like, I don't think, like, either of them were really hideous to begin with, so I don't think these transformations were really necessary. Beast. Yeah, and I don't think the person that they turned Prince Adam into would be somebody that Belle would find attractive anyway. Because if she wasn't going for Gaston, then, like, well, what's she supposed to do with this
She's clearly
dude?
not into conventionally handsome people.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So, like, what is she supposed to do with this dude? But,
we are analyzing this way more than I anticipated.
Yeah, we were supposed to be talking about the positives here, but okay.
But, yeah, no, again, it's iconic moments, it's good banter, it's great moment-to-moment stuff. And, again, it also just helps that it's a damn good film.
Yes.
Up next.
Okay, Hercules and Megara. So... this was a good relationship, just because, like I already, explained my criteria for this.
Yeah.
And Hercules and Meg pretty much hit this on the head. But really not up until the very end.
When she straight up gets crushed with a stone pillar.
Yeah, she's just about to die. They talk about how she was in love before with someone that ended up, like, betraying her or kind
ditching
of, like, selling her. Like, something like that. Right,
Which I've always meant to look up if that's based on an actual Greek myth.
I don't know, actually.
Like, that's always been on my to-do list. I've never bothered.
But she's pretty much a slave. She sold herself to Hades. And so now she just kind of works for him, doing his dirty work. And her objective here is to kind of capture him or somehow
weaken him. Yeah,
right, weaken him.
Basically, Hades can't touch him as long as he's partially immortal.
Right.
So she needs to get that last little bit of godhood out.
And she's working on it pretty good. And then at the end, she literally is just like, actually, nah.
Yeah.
I mean, she sings an entire song about it. Right. But then she just straight up like, no, I'm not doing that. She's willing to literally spend the eternity of like her eternity and sell her soul and put it just like send it to hell literally forever,
and then ends up
just so that he can
suffering
stay
the
cool.
worst death of any
and then
Disney
dies
character.
super violently.
Like,
yeah,
that might be worse than Clayton getting hung by the vines.
Oh yeah, don't even
Because
get
at
me
least
started
that
on
was
Clayton.
instantaneous.
Whoa, yeah.
Like, this is...
No, she had to.
She felt that.
And then like was still alive at first, and then had to give like a little
even
so
though
long
her
speech.
voice should be like gargled and like...
No, yeah, she got crushed.
Just
but
organs.
so then he ends up diving into like the sea of souls or whatever, and he's turning into he's like aging as he's swimming into, just to like pull Meg out, and he's willing to stay there in place of her so that she can continue living. But then that's where he gets his hero card, and he turns into just
it's like,
he turns into
this
a
was
god.
what that was supposed to be about.
Right, yeah. He turns into a god, and he's about to go on to Mount Olympus forever. And Zeus is like, "Welcome home, son. You're here." But then Meg's like, "I don't have my golden ticket. I'm not allowed on Mount Olympus. So I guess I'll see you when I see you." But then Hercules goes, "Nah, man. I'll just stay on Earth and be a hero still, and just so I can keep Bay. You know what I mean? Like keep the Bay." So that's pretty cool that he like all he wants to do is live among the gods with his parents, his real not that he doesn't love his Earth parents.
Well, one of his biological parents, technically,
right, but you know,
Disney's not going to acknowledge that.
They're there, yeah. And then at the last second is like, oh wait, that's not what I really want in life. That's not where I get my fulfillment from. I'm just gonna stick around with this woman.
I will say, for me, I guess the weakness is I love Meg as a character. She's one of
So do
Disney's
I.
best. She has a great voice actor.
Yeah.
Fun fact, the voice actor for Meg is also the voice of Rose Quartz in Steven Universe.
Get out. I didn't know that.
Swear to God. I did not know that either until I looked it up. I guess they somewhat sound similar. Mm-hmm. Like, the few times we've gotten to hear Rose talk, and when she gets angry, I'm like, oh, yep, there it is.
Oh.
Because there's a sequence where she, like, yells something, and I'm like, oh, yep, I get it now.
Is. Right. She also has the best lines. I mean, Meg has
she's just salty,
the coolest 90s humor that there ever was.
That's where the weird anachronism with Hercules really works.
Yeah.
Where you have this, like, 90s romantic character.
That was the weird... that's one of my favorite things, and I could talk about Hercules forever. Hercules is one of my favorite movies for a lot of different reasons. One of those reasons is that I feel like they just took the 90s, like just every aspect of the 90s, and placed it in ancient Greece.
And also Rocky.
Like, and they, and they make all these, like, really dated jokes that are so 90s.
And it's like, damn it, you're hard to love, but you're even harder to hate.
I know. Do you remember that line where, like,
the Buns of Bronze line?
Name?
I always think back to
my
that.
mom and I always joke about that one line. What are their names? The two, like, minions. They're like
pain and suffering or something.
Yeah, pain and like agony, something like that. But they're like when Hades finds out that that Hercules is like this hero, and he's like, what does that name ring a bell? Like, isn't this the Hercules that you were supposed to? And then they have that line. They're like, you remember a few years ago when everybody was named Brittany or Jason? And I was like, those are the most 90s names.
Or when he's like wearing the air hooks, and it's like, you're wearing his merchandise, and then you just hear the the straw just.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Like,
oh my gosh.
It's such a baffling movie.
It's perfect.
But yeah, like honestly with Meg, it's like she's the ultimate 90s romantic love interest.
Yeah.
Like if there wasn't an actual Greek mythology character named Megra, I would have believed that they named her after Meg Ryan.
Exactly, yeah.
But unfortunately, like Hercules doesn't work as well for me. He's fine as a character, but there's just not as much to him.
There really isn't, yeah.
This is another case of like the female lead's so developed it like leaves the male lead in a bad place. Like,
I think Phil is more interesting than Hercules as a character.
And that's also that's a problem in general. Every character except Hercules is like developed and interesting.
Yeah, evolved.
Whereas Hercules is just very broad and
fine.
He's fine.
He's fine. But anyway, okay, let's move on, shall we?
For me, this is my other favorite one, Wall-E and Eve. And
that movie is beautiful.
I wasn't planning on doing Pixar, and honestly, Wall-E isn't like my favorite Pixar movie. It's actually a little lower on the list for me, but just again talking movie moments, that moment when they are floating through space and Wall-E has the fire extinguisher, Like,
Oh.
honestly, for me, that might be the film moment of the 2000s.
Hmm.
Like, if I was going to handpick one or two signature scenes that I would want, like, historians to remember,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just so romantic and magical and, like, moving and swooning. And, again, I just love how they create this romance between them, basically without any dialogue, other than a few
Right.
words.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really into films that create all of these emotions and ideas with as few words as possible. And Wally, honestly, in many ways, is the best example of that. That's almost why, like, Wally kind of loses me when we get into, like, all the humans on the ship, just because then it's like,
I
oh, we're
got you.
talking.
Yeah. I got you.
Because the romance between them is just so beautiful and so
Mm-hmm.
simple and wordless, and, like, you get so much emotion out of so little facial range.
Right.
I just think it deserves special recognition.
I agree.
Yeah,
It's one of the most beautiful movies to me. I just like visually.
absolutely.
I could watch it with no
I
sound
think it's one of their
whatsoever.
best visual films
Yes.
by a mile.
Mm-hmm.
By a country mile and 2/4.
Okay, what's
That
next?
was a little concise. This is one I kind of threw on just as, like, some extra discussion points. I really love Mr. and Mrs. Incredible. Like, I just love the banter they have. I just love how...
They remind me so much of I don't know why, The King of Queens. Remember that show
Yeah.
with Kevin James?
Yeah, they have, like, that classic sitcom sense.
And the wife
and it
reminds me
works.
of Leah Remini, like just in like
Yeah.
her, like she's got this weird like New York sort of humor, like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
coolness about her, but like she really doesn't, like she's just like she's a typical mom that
Also
is
happens to be
crazy
incredible.
busy and feels like she's doing everything for everybody, and she actually is, and is just tired, but happens to be
Yeah.
this very sophisticated hero.
Yeah, and I also like just how real it is. Like, because, you know, you have all the comedy moments and you have all the dramatic superhero action stuff, but then you also have these, like there's those moments during the montage where they have, like all these, when, you know, they're playing, like, grab ass and stuff and doing
Right,
stuff like that.
yeah.
And I'm like, this feels so genuine.
Yeah.
But then you have that moment where they get in a fight and I'm like, oh, wow, this is real and uncomfortable. Like, you get such, like, they're the most believable Pixar characters I've ever seen, just in terms
Yes.
of their relationship. Where
Right.
it's like, you know, they have their difficulties, but they do really love each other, and they have so much fun together. And, like, when they're doing all their superhero stuff together, and they just look at each other, and it's like, oh, they're back, you know, they're back in their element.
Right.
Also, just, it never ceases to make me laugh when they finally reunite on the island, because the whole time Miss Elastigirl assumed Mr. Incredible's cheating on her.
Right.
She shows up, and the femme fatale is like, oh, you must be Mrs. Just knocks her
she took her out. That
And-
cracks me up.
and Mr. Incredible just doesn't get it for a second, then finally goes, oh,
Oh.
this is, oh, no. Like, in him, it seemed so self-evident that he was
Right.
sneaking out to be a superhero that he didn't even think of what else it could possibly
Right.
be.
What it could look like.
And that's hysterical to me.
Oh my gosh.
Just that whole, like, where he's like, oh, no, oh, you got it all
Oh
wrong.
my gosh.
And he just wants to hug her because it's like, oh, you were so worried about this, and I was just nearly
Right.
dying.
That's funny. All right, let's throw in, because we've talking about The Incredibles,
Oh,
our
yeah.
quick honorable
One of our
mention.
honorable mentions.
One of the best conversations ever written that Disney has
Disney
ever
film.
created. Like, just this conversation. The conversation between Frozone and his
wife,
wife, whose
who
name
we
we
might
don't know.
not have a name for.
But I think she deserves an award for her performance.
For just not putting up with anything.
Anything,
Even as
yeah.
the world's in danger.
Why would she know where your super suit is? She don't wear it. Why would she know where it
Like,
is?
People, like, I feel like everyone on the planet who has access
Everybody
to the internet or
knows this
television
line.
or media has seen this scene, even if they have
Yes.
no other context for the movie.
Exactly. It doesn't
Like,
matter.
The movie could, as far as I know, the movie might just be about these two.
Yo, I need Incredibles 2 to do this justice.
Yeah.
I mean,
We need another version
we need-
we need to
we need
build
this.
on this.
yes, we need more of these two people. We need an entire scene of just like a full length. Like I need a good 10 minutes of banter between these two. That's what I need.
Yeah, I'm just
More than that.
because it's like it opens up so many possibilities that are never
It does.
explored, and I love that. I love when it sets up whole other worlds of content.
Exactly. Yes. This should be a short. This should be Disney's next.
This should have been
short
F the Jack
feature.
Jack short they did.
No,
Frozone
yes.
and his wife. That's the ball game right there. That's what
yes,
we're paying to
that's
see
what
around
we
these
need.
parts.
Okay, and our final romantic couple that we've thrown in here for good measure. We could not have this discussion without mentioning this couple. You probably already know who we're gonna say. It would be Goofy and
The
the
librarian.
mysterious librarian lady whose name we don't know
didn't
from the
feel like looking up.
extremely goofy movie.
So, first
This
off...
has to be number one on
yeah,
our list.
I feel like it has to be.
It has to be.
First off, I never want to meet a person who doesn't love both the Goofy movie and the extremely Goofy movie.
Right, no, they're invalid.
Yes, that opinion is incorrect.
No.
That is the one time there is such a thing as an objective opinion.
Yes.
I freaking love the Goofy movie because it basically gets like 6 decades worth of college tropes.
Sylvia.
Sylvia, hey. You get...
Of course her name is Sylvia.
Because you have, like, the 2000s extreme sports nonsense. You have the jocks
exactly.
versus... You have the, like, 80s jocks versus slobs.
Right,
you
all
have
of the, like, fraternity brother thing. And, of course, the jazz club.
Yeah, you have the beatniks,
exactly.
who haven't existed since, like, the Eisenhower
administration. Right, and also, like, drug use, for like, implied drug use, all throughout this movie. And the presence of nacho cheese filling every facet in between
like,
all of these things.
I can never eat Cheese Whiz because of that movie. Because
no,
something about Pauly Shore grossed it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pauly Shore.
They make it look, like, really good and also really bad.
Yeah,
all at once. Ugh.
It's incredible. But, no, they're just
They
so
also
cute
question
together.
why they wear gloves, which is the only reference to gloves that Disney has ever acknowledged.
Yeah. I assumed it was because
did
they're
in
all...
that movie.
I just
Burn
assumed it was a
victims or
world...
something.
Oh, I was going to say it's a world filled with convicted murderers and bank robbers and they need to cover up their fingerprints.
No, that's got to be why.
No, they're just adorable together. They're really funny.
They have the best disco dancing scene.
That disco dancing
just like
scene
she's just such a cool character. Like that, she's this very like buttoned up librarian. She has this very sensible haircut, and she's just this very soft spoken. And she's got this figure. Like they gave her this like very like sexy looking hourglass. Like she's hot. Like and then
I'm not even comment on that.
and then like they go dancing. And she's got,
they basically give her the she's all that arc of like,
exactly.
She's pretty the whole time.
Right.
This conventionally attractive woman took off her glasses and let her hair down. And
here you go.
Attractive.
They wigged out her, yeah.
But they're just adorable together.
Just beautiful. This is such a beautiful couple. Just for fun. There doesn't even have to be a reason. Like, they're just fun.
They're just fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of sweet because a whole big part of the other movie is like, oh, he's a single dad. And now he has a wife.
Now he has a partner. Cool. Yay.
And I think that's the moral for you to take into this Valentine's Day.
Right.
That every Disney couple sucks other than Goofy and Sylvia.
Yes, all of these other ones that we've mentioned are just irrelevant.
Yeah,
they don't
throw
compare
them in the bin,
to Goofy and Sylvia.
light up the bin.
Yeah, it's trash.
Kick it down kick it down a hill, Simpson style.
Exactly. I want all of my relationships thus forward to be just like Goofy and Sylvia.
Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Happy Valentine's Day, folks. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Disney Desk. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and thumbs up this video. For more content, be sure to check out our Tumblr and look for us on Facebook. Have a magical day.